the Body and Brain podcast.
This is Minjae Kim
And I'm David Driscoll. Been busy, huh?
and hot.
And hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched any movies lately?
Yes.
Oh, any good ones?
Yes.
Which one?
I watched Aladdin
Aladdin.
and also the Avengers.
Ah.
What is the latest one?
Endgame?
Endgame.
Endgame.
Yes.
Avengers Endgame. How did you like it?
Very like it. Yeah. The 3 hours just passed.
Flew by.
Yes.
You know what I heard, and actually I experienced, is it's a beautiful long movie, but it's hard to not go to the bathroom in the middle.
Yes. I had a big pressure to my bladder.
Me too.
Yeah. But I made it.
Luckily, we do intestine exercise and lots of training.
Yeah. And then I brought the healing life, belly button healing wand
Ah, the belly button healing wand.
to the movies.
Really? Doesn't that make it... Anyway, no comment. So it was a good movie.
Yes.
What did you like best about the movie?
Spectacular.
It was spectacular,
Yeah.
but sometimes action movies that are spectacular can also be very boring.
That's right.
But
But
this was
is
not.
a very good story. Very
This is a good story.
Yeah.
And that's actually what's interesting to me. What makes an action movie, beyond just the special effects, really meaningful and interesting?
I think these days the storytelling is very important.
Storytelling, and I think Avengers recognizes that.
Right. So you can invest a lot of money for graphics and the actors and actresses. That is one thing.
Yes.
But have strong storylines are very important.
Very important.
And also the character.
Yeah. And then strong storylines, I think typically there's a lot of drama that's focused on the negative, kind of the sadness, the stress, the tragedy of life. And
Right.
That's one way. And then there's the other side. There's comedy and tragedy.
Comedy and tragedy.
The classical dichotomy, comedy and tragedy.
All right.
Sources of drama.
Okay.
But I think there's actually a third style which is becoming slightly more popular and well represented. And it's
Comedy.
no,
Sorry.
but comedic tragedy
Comedic tragedy.
for those of us,
Wow.
like full words. But
Like our podcast.
yes,
Okay.
comedic tragedy.
Right. Yeah, comedy.
Where's the tragedy? I think
Yeah, tragedy. Yeah, it can happen. It's so hot outside.
behind the scenes.
Right.
So the third way is neither just comedy nor tragedy, but some kind of inspiration.
Inspirational movies.
Yeah, something inspirational.
Right.
And inspiration is interesting because I think sarcasm and cynicism are so common. Maybe they've been kind of a crutch of a lot of writers. Let's pick apart the good things and let's show how they're flawed, like the flawed hero.
I think this is kind of, our society. People want to see stars and heroes, and then they want to see the falling of the stars.
Yeah, Tiger Woods,
O.J. Simpson.
many other actors.
Yeah, actress.
And it's not to say that people don't make mistakes and are legitimately flawed, but when we only focus on that side of the story, we end up creating a world where it's hard to really believe in anything idealistic.
Because our society is like filled with sarcasm and
Exactly.
skepticism.
And that's good to a point. We don't take anything at face value. We want to see proof. We want to really know that it's real. But on the other hand, as we know, where your mind goes, energy follows.
Right.
You kind of create your reality based on the images. And if you're always looking at things from a skeptical point of view, you end up creating a world that is kind of hollow.
Right. Empty.
Empty.
Yes.
And you don't really trust anything.
Right.
At some point, we need to have faith and actually trust something better.
Yeah, there are times that I want to read books, some books with hope. So I searched hope at Amazon, and I can see a series of books related to hope, and almost all of them are about religion directly.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that means it is very hard to find hope from like other in our regular
I agree.
regular life.
I think if you look on television, you look at movies, if you look at the bookstore, I don't know, I'd say 80 or more percent of the stories are based on a hopelessness. rather than hope.
Right.
Now, I think we can mention some movie. How about the Wolverine?
Wolverine.
The character Wolverine, X-Men. The last movie with him was Logan.
Which I watched it.
You did?
Yes.
How did you feel at the end of that?
How did it end?
It was pretty depressing.
Oh yes. So he gave up his the eternal life.
Yeah,
right?
he died.
Yeah, he died.
Spoiler, sorry.
Oops. Yeah.
If you haven't seen it by now, come on.
Right. Yeah.
So he died at the end, and this is the point I'm trying to make. At the end, the little girl who has superpowers like him, he's dying, and she says "daddy" or something, and it's supposed to be a really touching moment of like finally they acknowledge their relationship.
Right.
But to me, the bigger story is completely hopeless. The world has already failed. He's dying. And then she just expresses some emotion, some feeling of connection. And that's supposed to make up for it, as if that's the only hope that we can look for.
I think the whole movie was like that because the color of the movie and the background music of the movie is very different than the other episodes of like X-Men characters.
Yeah, X-Men I think typically had a little bit more hopefulness in it.
Right.
But this is something that I see a lot is there's looking for small moments of hope in an otherwise hopeless world. And that's where I think we can see real hope means there is a hopeful world.
Hopeful world.
Not just hopeful moments.
Right.
And that's where I think it's a rarer story that has an actual hopeful world and not just little moments that make you feel hope.
Right. So some movies are like filled with sarcasm and skepticism, and then they have like some drops of hopeful.
And at the end, that's supposed to be a hopeful movie.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, actually, no. A hopeful movie has to have the whole background. Of course, there's still conflict, but actually the background itself gives you hope.
Yeah, the movie should be giving some like different perspective of the life, like hope.
I totally. And you know what's interesting to me? Sometimes foreign movies, some genre of foreign movies to me have a fundamental hopefulness about them, like the community they live in is still very connected, or the problems that they face are not like these terrible soul-crushing problems. They're just like human problems, and they're still dramatic, and it's a wonderful story, but it's not so depressing.
Yeah, speaking of foreign movies, yeah, I found more hope and more stories that is related to my real life from Korean movies.
Korean movies,
Yes.
yeah, related to your life.
Yeah.
Interesting thing is I also have felt a certain kind of hopefulness from a lot of Korean shows and movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I started watching one recently about a young woman who was pregnant who moved to the United States, I think, to give birth. And I didn't see the whole movie because it was in subtitles and it was late.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and then you are not wanting to give the spoilers.
No.
Right.
So I didn't watch the end, so I wouldn't give any spoilers away.
That's why.
But it was a very dramatic story, like a young woman by herself in a new country. She's scared, she's anxious, she's kind of a difficult person. But at the same time, the movie itself was centered in a world that had some love and hope in it, even though the story was very dramatic. Now, if that had been made in the United States, I think the feeling would have been a little different about that story, about that young woman who is pregnant and alone. So that's just a little example of how the background can be hopeful or not, but the story itself can still be dramatic. But these days, I think we're seeing more and more pop culture is starting to bring out elements of hopefulness.
And inspiration.
And like a deep faith in humanity.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And I think we need that.
Okay, yes.
So do you have any favorite examples of very hopeful movies or music or TV or books?
Actually, I liked, this is not a recent movie, but I liked Paid Forward.
Paid Forward.
Yes.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yes.
Child actor extraordinaire.
Yeah. And then Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
And Helen Hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really touching movie, right?
Yeah, and then because the small actions to change the world. not the big theory and big philosophy, but small actions, which end up we know that this can be a spoiler.
Again,
But this is
if
like
you haven't seen it
long
yet,
time ago. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. So even the teacher who gave the project to the kids didn't believe in it.
Right.
Yeah. But the kid took it with his pure heart and took action. And then later the scene shows that a big a celebrity gives away his brand new Jaguar to a stranger. Yeah. And
So
then,
it really worked.
right.
Beyond the expectations of the teacher.
Yeah, so one person good, challenging, good work to other three strangers. That's actually a huge thing.
And that kind of movie, when it's a small scale, but a realistic scale, actually, I find in many ways more hopeful than, for instance, the superhero movies, which I know they're a metaphor that we all have power, that we're all special, we can do great things. But in some ways, it's also saying, oh, well, you'd have to be that strong.
Right.
You'd have to be that amazing to really do something.
Spider-Man.
So Pay It Forward
Right.
is a fantastic example of a story that's rooted in a very relatable human condition, but is so hopeful.
So hopeful. And also the Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
right.
Forrest Gump, the main character, is not really, superior. Like, he does not look like superior to us, or he does not look like, the superhero. But his small action
Yeah.
gave lots of hope to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are great movies, and they're very important.
How about you?
Well, it's interesting because there's many movies that have elements of it.
Right.
And Avatar, for me, was an incredibly hopeful movie, even though the story itself was, some people have called it a very cliched story, where it's like the oppressive, militaristic society, and then the innocent, pure native society. Yes, I know that's kind of an overused cliche.
Yeah. A little bit of dichotomy.
Yeah, it's a little too simplistic.
Right.
But at the same time, by picturing a world that was based on connection with nature,
The connection.
by embodying that, showing what that looks like, I think
tree, the Iwa?
home tree, and Ewa, the nature spirit.
Right.
By showing a society that looks like that, it's such a powerful image and experience for the audience that it really is important. And movies that do that, even in small ways, I think are contributing to our creation of a better future.
Right. I remember the female character says, looking into the male, the character's eyes and say, "I see you."
I like it when you say that.
Wow.
And there's really something special there, very hopeful. Now, there's a lot of great things. How about BTS?
Oh, BTS. Yeah. I love
World famous.
Yeah, world famous.
Now, we've been talking about BTS and hearing about them for a long time because of the kind of indirect connection we have through Global Cyber University in Korea,
right?
Which is what a lot of the BTS members attend, or did they graduate?
No. Here they're
still attending?
Yes.
There's a Global Cyber University in Korea, which is founded by Il-chi Lee.
Yeah, the founder of Body and Brain.
So we're kind of connected to them. We're almost like best friends, actually. I'm probably going to talk to them in a couple weeks to see how it's going.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to give them some recommendations for their next song.
Okay, that's great. Actually, you are going to Korea for the...
That's right.
Yeah, to
visit
university,
Global
University.
Cyber University.
Wow, great.
So I'll just drop them a list of things that I think they should do.
Yes.
So BTS, we've been talking about them and their positive messages.
Yeah, the message of their songs are really.
Now they're super famous.
Right.
I mean, you all know that.
Yeah. So there are lots of people, like especially from the army.
The army?
Yeah, their stories.
The BTS army?
The fan club.
The fan club army.
The fan club, yeah.
Don't get it confused. Not the American Army. Do you think they're big BTS fans?
I'm not so sure about that.
Maybe
I went
not.
to Korean army, not the American army.
Is the Korean army a big... I bet there's a lot of BTS fans in the Korean army.
Yes. But anyway, the fan club of the BTS is called the Army. And then, there are, I can see lots of stories, healing stories actually. People who are suffering from depression or anxiety, and they almost killed themselves, and listening to BTS, especially about the message of the loving yourself, and then find your voice, and all your mistakes in the past, are actually something that you can embrace or you
Right.
need to embrace. It gives lots of hope.
They, as much as anyone, and I know a lot of musicians and a lot of actors and everybody, they do give positive messages. But BTS, I think, more than almost anybody recently, has really made a name for themselves by deeply committing
Right.
to these positive messages.
Yeah. And then they were invited by the UN, United Nations.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really great.
So for some people, I think positive messages sound nice, but there's a doubt about the power of them. Sometimes it's easy to feel like sarcasm and cynicism is reality,
All right.
that it's practical.
Yes.
But taking it a little bit deeper, actually, hope, faith, and positive mindsets are also very practical.
Right.
And they're actually founded on a deeper truth of human nature that
Yes.
we like to call a principle.
Yes.
And this principle from body and brain education is called, it's actually a traditional kind of Korean principle.
Please let me know. Yes.
I will tell you.
Yes, please.
It's called Honghee.
Honghee.
I think we've spoken about it before. Honghee.
Right. Honghee.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Your pronunciation's
Thank you
excellent.
so much.
So Honghee is a culture, it's a philosophy, and it's a way of living that the individual is widely beneficial.
Widely benefit.
Actually, it's inherently tied. The happiness and the meaning of my life is tied to what I contribute and how I live with the earth and with other people. There's a meaning and purpose in that, which is somehow very essential and natural. It's not made up.
Right. So in these days, we know that everything is connected.
More and more science
Everything
is
is
showing
connected.
that.
Yeah. So what is good for me, and it is if it is not good for other people, then eventually it is not good for me either.
Yeah. So that's an ancient wisdom. It's a modern scientific principle, and it's just kind of common sense if you have to deal with people as a human being.
Right. Right.
But in media and art, it's still not, I'd say, the most popular kind of method of portraying stories and
Right,
characters.
yeah.
But there is a real power in it beyond just being nice. It's not about just being nice.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes BTS can be very aggressive.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Their lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very
They're
confident,
powerful.
ready to compete.
Right.
And not just BTS, but many songs, many groups have that kind of energy, and yet they recognize that it's not about just me winning.
Right.
I win, everybody loses. Aren't you sick of that? Isn't
Yeah.
it really annoying when a celebrity is like, I'm the winner, that's why you should pay attention to me? Who
Right.
cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
But when they contribute to the common good, there's actually a very natural power, and that's what Honghee represents.
Yeah. So like people like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, they are contributing a lot. Not to mention they have wealth. So I think that is why lots of people respect them. Yeah.
You know what? Jim Carrey has a famous quote about, and I think it's truly attributed to him. Jim Carrey said, "I wish everybody would get everything they'd ever dreamed of."
Right.
Like the recognition and success and material comfort, because then they'd see it doesn't really change things. But when we don't have that, we're not a celebrity, it's easy to imagine that's what it would take for me to feel important and
Right.
satisfied.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who have some of that, they say, no, it doesn't make it happen.
Yeah. We easily say that happiness is inside, not outside. But people say that, oh, you can say that because you have other material things.
We can say, oh, Bill Gates is wonderful. He can donate. Mark Zuckerberg can do it because of look how much money they have.
Right.
But I want you to really imagine that you are a celebrity. You are famous. Everybody wants your attention. They want to give you love. You have plenty of money.
Right.
You have lots of fun. And you've done this for a while. It's
Right.
not a new thing.
Yes.
Then what's next for you?
What's next?
You got everything that your desires wanted. What are you going to do next? What makes you want to keep living and challenging yourself?
It is like I got an image that I'm climbing the mountain. It's very difficult.
It's difficult.
Yeah, there will be some gold on the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Keep coming. And then eventually, I finally went up. I'm here.
You're at the top.
Yeah. And what's next?
What's next? Or let's say you got to the top of the mountain. There is gold up there. But you're at the top of the mountain.
Right.
What are you going to do with that gold?
Oh.
Not much. There's no
Yes.
stores up there.
Right.
There's no banks.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. You can't really do anything with that. You have to keep living. So envisioning that, that's also why it's so important not just to think you have to be nice, you have to win. There's a deeper principle about growth. And then at the end of our lives, which we all have to face eventually, can you be satisfied?
At the last of our moment.
At the last moment. Again, pay it forward. You know, it has tragedy in it.
Yeah.
But even that tragedy at the end is surrounded by hope.
We cannot take anything with us.
Whether you win or lose in life, you can't take it with you. So at the end, does the world that's left behind have more hope? Now, Pay It Forward is a great example of that. Because, no, spoiler alert, a lot of people are inspired to do something better because of that action, even though there's a tragedy.
Right. So it is not about what you can take, which is nothing.
Which is nothing.
But it is more about what we can leave behind.
That's right. And even in a different way, a lot of the war movies, inspiring kind of stories of suffering, people sacrifice, but it's what it does to other people. It's what it does to the world that's left behind that ultimately fills us with hope rather than with hopelessness.
Yeah. But so far, lots of people, a lot more people than the other, focused on what they can gain more.
Well, when we don't have real hope inside ourselves,
Right.
then it's hard to figure out how to share hope with others.
Right.
And so we end up just trying to share stories of kind of power or talent or intelligence. But ultimately, power, talent, and intelligence do not create hope.
So because happiness and power exist inside.
The real happiness and power
Right.
come from hope rather than being created.
So it is very often that we can see that practitioners of body and brain find hope.
A lot of them say that they have the power to change things about their routine, about their physical condition, about their lifestyle, because they found hope.
Through meditation.
Through meditation, also just through working with other people who have hope.
The like-minded people.
Like-minded people, and then, yes, through connecting with themselves more by taking the time to focus inside, to deal with their stress, face themselves.
That is why the community of the people is so important.
Community is so important.
I see.
Even the physical health and power can also be a source of hope. So if you have been sick or if you've been tired, it can be hard to have hope.
Right.
If you start to improve your condition and take care of yourself well, automatically, usually, there's a little bit more hope.
I see. So it is really important to find some happiness and focus yourself.
Yes. And along the way, you'll see every reason not to have hope.
Right.
Right?
A lot of reasons.
Actually, they did a study recently I saw where people who meditate are not automatically happier from the start. Actually, by meditating, often they face anxiety, they face depression, which was kind of being hidden under the surface and controlled.
Right.
And so they feel that.
Right.
So it's not just because you do it that you feel better, but by facing those things, we can get power, we can get hope.
Right. So people fall into entertainment or media because they want to avoid the feeling.
But some media can actually, it doesn't make us connect. Even if you watch a really hopeful movie, it's not going to make you connect to yourself. It may inspire you to do something, and then you can connect to yourself.
So the connection is ultimately by me.
You have to do it yourself. It's very hard by watching something to connect to yourself. So even if you enjoy this conversation and you find it somewhat inspiring, afterwards you need to do something.
So consuming good media.
Consuming
very,
good media
very
it is a very important thing because it's like our diet. Let's say you eat well. Now that's very important for your health, but if you don't exercise or stay active, even if you eat well, it's going to be very hard to get stronger.
Right. I eat organic food, but I don't exercise.
Never exercise, don't sleep. You're not going to get stronger.
Right.
Now the same is true. You can consume a lot of hopeful information, but unless you take action and do
take
something,
action,
it may not really change your life and give you that much more hope.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you do? What kind of actions can you take?
Small actions.
Yeah, that's very important. Find small actions.
Start small And then
That's right.
when people gather together, then you can create huge change.
Every time you meet with people or you do something that faces your limits, you have an opportunity to practice choosing trust.
Yes. And then talk about positive things.
Talk about positive things. Find the bright side, not as a way of avoiding, but as a way of choosing and creating.
Right. Especially we are living in the world where we can easily find negative information.
Very easy.
Yeah.
You don't even have to look.
Right.
It's already coming at you.
Yes.
So yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to a new movie coming out soon.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Let's take small actions with the Spider-Man.
So I'm going to take a small action, but I'm going to watch Spider-Man and then I'm going to find more ways to take action and do something.
Yes, superhero.
Yeah. Do you want to go see Spider-Man sometime?
Yeah, let's go together.
Okay.
That's great.
But you're going to be out of town.
You too.
Yeah. Okay.
You're out of country.
Well, I might see Spider-Man.
Oh, you can Spider-Man in Korean subtitle.
Oh, wonderful. Do I have to read Korean?
Yes, you have to.
Okay. I'll practice.
All right. Please like the video.
Yeah. And leave your comments. Let us know what are your favorite examples of a positive message or Honghee message in music, books, movies, media, anything.
And subscribe to this channel.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.